So how's the transition been for you to get to McAdory? You hadn't been there that long, but
I'll tell you, it's been exciting. A lot to do, obviously, and been pretty busy. We're in the middle of a move as well, so it's definitely been a little bit stressful just getting everything done this late, trying to put a staff together, trying to get everything laid out the way we would want to lay it out. But these guys have made it incredible, and that's what makes it exciting. They just come to work every day and have had a great attitude. You feel a lot of hunger at McAdory, and a lot of guys in this senior class that have been good leaders for us. Been there every day, getting after it all summer through a somewhat shortened but still a long hot summer.
Mm-hmm. For the players, what's the transition been like for you guys? Who wants to start?
I'll start. It's been real fun, different, new, but I like it.
Just like he said, it's been a real big challenge for us. We having Coach Powell last year. We get the coaching change in the spring. So we all like Coach Bart, and we like it the way he coaches, his style, and we just hope we can transition that on the field. Just play well.
What do you think, Connor?
From one coach to another, it's a big step. Obviously, a bunch of things are different, but we're learning how to adjust to it, and we're ready for it.
It's pretty much what all they said. It's a good change. Nice, fast, a good offense. So I think it's pretty good.
Coach, we've seen McAdory as a running team for a while. Without giving too many of your secrets away, what's the big changes we're going to see in McAdory football this year?
McAdory's still a running team. If you want to win a state championship in the state of Alabama, you better be able to run the football when you want to and stop the run when you want to. Football's football. The jet sweep is the jet sweep. It doesn't matter. It's just usually different terminology. I think we'll be a little different formationally, firstly. And hopefully use some of our athletes to maybe spread the field a little bit and use the entire field horizontally and vertically. Obviously, with a senior quarterback coming back, I'm sure that without a change, some things in the passing game would have expanded just because you have a senior at that position. So, it's our system. I don't know how to. I told him when I came in, I have a ton of respect for David Powell and what he's done at McAdory, and just tremendous job there for years and years and years. McAdory's one of the elite teams in our state. I'm just blessed to be a part of it. I don't know how to be Coach Powell, so all I know how to be is Bart Sessions. So we're going to coach our schemes because it's what we know. Fortunately, it's been pretty successful for us. There's some stops along the way, and I think these guys have done a great job of just trusting us and buying into what we're doing. And you can see the progression every day. We're getting a little better.
You mentioned in your opening statement about putting together a staff. Is everybody in place yet? And then who have you hired?
I tell you, we had some great guys that stayed off Coach Powell's staff, first of all, and probably didn't talk about them. Connor Young was already on staff. Great young coach, offensive coach. He's actually going to handle our quarterbacks. He has been doing wide receivers, but he's going to handle our quarterbacks now. We added a teacher that was actually on our campus, but is now back into coaching. Our coach Jeremy Marshall, excited about him. He comes out there with a great attitude every day, big smile on his face. And I also put some of that tough love in the O-line. I'm sure Mr. Cosby will attest to. But a great coach, been a great addition for us. Jared Holder is a guy who's returning from last year's staff. Again, a great young coach, man, just a worker. General Franks handles our secondary. He's done a tremendous job there, and is really stepping up. We're able to hire Jason Hamlin from Spain Park High School. Obviously, there's a connection between he and I from back at my time at Spain Park High School. We feel like he's been a great addition to our staff, and of all things, Jason's going to be our defensive coordinator, which probably will surprise a few people. That's traditionally kind of been the role I feel. But he and I coached together for so long, and we have continued to talk ball after we coached on different staffs. So our philosophies, our terminologies, our systems are very, very, very similar. So I feel comfortable with Jason coming in and running that. And man, he's done a great job so far. He's only been there a short time, but doing a great job. Who am I missing? Coach Brantley Kane. Coach Brantley Kane coaches everything. He coaches the head coach. He coaches all the assistant coaches. He coaches all the players, and it is invaluable. He literally does a little bit of everything, and so we really couldn't run McAdory High School football without Coach Kane. I think we'll probably have one more name to add pretty quick. Matter of fact, when I leave here, I got to have one more conversation to be sure that everything's going to work out. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Our administration, Mr. Bowen, has been wonderful. Coach Ryan, that's what I forgot, Christopher Ryan. He's a new hire. I think our board will approve him this Thursday. He was at Hansville last year. He's going to work with our offensive line as well. We feel it's important to have two guys with that offensive line. I'm moving over to the offensive side of the ball, and young staff, I'm coaching coaches as much as I am players, So
You mentioned the success that Coach Powell had there. Feel some pressure to keep that going?
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. I always say that. I mean, the pressure to win is if it's not from within, then why do you do this? I mean, I've never coached in a game that I thought, hey, we're going to lose the game, and that's some people take that as arrogance, but it's in my opinion the mindset you better have if you want to be successful in our profession. So that pressure comes from within. And, we want to respect the traditions and the legacy that Coach Powell has set, but we want to add to it and enhance it and take it to a new level.
And every coach has a slightly different way of doing things.
Sure.
For the players, just give me a sense or maybe an example of how the way Coach Sessions and his group is doing it is a little different than what Coach Powell did.
So that's the trick question. Now you can't say nothing bad about your new coach.
What do you think? Anybody got an example?
I think it's a lot more detail oriented. Obviously we were still structured with Coach Powell, but here it's more of specific things and breaking down areas and focusing more on the little things.
We every day at practice we go over fundamentals every day in our individual groups. So I feel that that's where Coach Sessions could be a help for us. So and not taking anything away from Coach Powell and his way of coaching, but with two different coaches, they have different coaching styles. But Coach Sessions, he came in. Some players may not agree with his the way he runs things, but for the most part, he's done a great job for us.
Coach, we know about your key players. Last year, Coach Powell shocked me with somewhat of a passing game with a deep threat. Did you, without giving away your game plan or anything, have you found some diamonds in the rough that we might need to be watching for this year? Some guys that maybe we haven't seen that we might need to be watching down the season?
I think, skill position wise on the offense side of the ball, a lot of those guys will be familiar faces. You look at Riddle, who was a big part of last year's offense, obviously will remain a big part of this year's offense. We're moving him out into the slot a little bit more. He was attached mainly last year, and we'll get him in space a little bit more and hopefully get the ball in his hands a couple of different ways. Austin Clark is a move back, I guess you would call it, from private school that's been doing a great job for us at tailback. So we feel pretty good about having two backs with him and Riddle, and then some younger kids that are doing a great job as well. Josh Wilson is a guy that maybe didn't play a ton last year, but it's a big, long wide out that we feel has had a great summer so far. I'm sure I'm missing someone. I literally am still learning that. Cam Williams is our other wide out, who's a very explosive player. I think he'll show up in the return game. I know they had a very explosive returner last year. But Cam, in his own right, can be very, very explosive.
And it's interesting you said you were moving to the offensive side of the ball. So, I mean, when you're on that side of the ball, are you thinking, hey, when I was running the defense at X, this really gave us a problem, or this guy is similar to this other guy, and this is how they hurt us with him?
Yeah, no doubt. I've been on these offensive guys for years. I'm still a defensive guy. Let's keep that out there. I'm still a defensive guy, but I've been telling these offensive guys for years. Number one, they let them cheat. With these RPOs, they're blocking our Mike backer and throwing a pass. So the rules now are built for offensive football. Hey, man, we want to light the scoreboard up. I mean, I love, there's a couple of teams that, even though I was a defensive guy, a couple of teams when I was the head coach, we set the school scoring record. I mean, it's fun for kids to go out there and play an up-tempo offense and spread. You get the ball distributed all around, and kids enjoy that. And heck coaching, man, that's fun as a coach to try to, to try to basically out-scheme your opponent on that side of the ball. Obviously, kind of speaking to your question, I know some things that created problems for us and formationally. I think we're going to make you work. If you're a defensive coach, we're going to keep you in that office another hour, drawing up formations and motions and shifts and things of that nature. So we're going to try to drive a few defensive coordinators up the wall like they used to me with all these formations that you can run now.
I ask the players every year that are in our region over there, so this is more for them. Coach wants you to say it's every game, but I know there's a rival that you look forward to playing every year. I'm going to start right here. Personally, who's your favorite to match up against?
I like playing against everybody, but can't sleep on nobody. Just need to give Fridays.
Good answer.
Every team in our schedule, they gonna come ready to play every Friday night. So I wouldn't say it's a specific team, So with having a new coach, everything changes. So I mean, you can't play it all like you did last year. You gotta take it game by game.
I'm just a kicker, so
what
I don't really have a problem. I mean, I just like to kick the ball, but I'm just looking forward to every game, honestly.
I feel like every game is important. Like he said, can't take no team like for granted or anything. Like last year we lost to the team in practice for real. So I think every team.
Well, because Hueytown yesterday said you guys. All three of them said you guys.
That's great. That's great.
So I was waiting to see what y'all would say back to that.
We play them week 8 or 9, I think. So we got about 7 we got to worry about before we ever.
And if we ask Bessemer City and Little Rock and hear Chief, they're probably going to say you guys.
We play them pretty late too. So
September 13th, Friday the 13th.
That's 4, right?
4 or 5.
Week 4.
And y'all are 4-0 or 5-0 in that series. So
don't tell them that.
Yeah.
You've been in a bunch of different places. How is McAdory similar to those other places? And everybody's different, but I'm just curious. What are the similarities that you see now that you've been there at least a few weeks?
I'll tell you, I told someone this the other day. I think Coach Vickery and I were talking the other day. To me, it's very, very similar to Davidson. Our kind of last couple of years at Davidson. I guess when we first went to Davidson, it was not known as a power in the state. Towards Coach Vick's last couple of years and then Coach Riley's years, it really blossomed into one of the powers. But very similar type kids to me. They enjoy football. They enjoy the physicality of the game. And that's evident, when you go to practice. Speed, there's some speed running around out there. Good hard-nosed guys. We have a few kids that'll get a little distracted every now and then. We have to remind them that we got to stay focused in. But for the most part, just good, hard-working people that raise good, hard-nosed kids. And that's a recipe for good football. As they mentioned earlier, we've been in their ears every day about details, and those are the things that we learned at Davidson. If we could be detail-oriented, we could have a really, really good football team. So we've tried to just emphasize that, and these guys have responded well.
what does it mean to be part of Jacket Nation? A football game at a McAdory is a whole different experience, from the atmosphere to the band to the blimp to everything. What does it mean for you personally to be part of the Jacket Nation?
No doubt. I think we may be the only high school in the nation that has a blimp. I think Phoenix City has a hot air balloon. We got a blimp. We may be the only two in the country with those things. But just blessed. I really am. You go through this coaching profession, and sometimes, man, you get great opportunities, and then sometimes you get opportunities that really test you for whatever reason. And it's been an interesting year for my family, and man, we can't do anything but thank God for where He's placed us. Great kids, great faculty, great administration, with a great tradition of playing championship caliber football. So we're excited to be there, and obviously being back in the Birmingham metro area is exciting for my family. So I just go to work with a big smile on my face every day.